Hi, amazing viewers. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So if you are new here, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. So today I'm reacting to the latest updates on the China saga. So guys, please stay tuned and let's enjoy the wonderful video with me. Poof, poof, poof.
My friend Colin Plume from Noble Gold Investments just released his new book, Silver is the New Oil, and it says if you don't own silver yet, you're already behind. Colin says that as demand for technology, energy, and industry soars, silver's value is set to surge. The question is, are you ready to profit? This book reveals why silver is the most underrated asset today and how to invest before the world catches on. I've read Silver is the New Oil, and you should too. Get it now, available on Amazon. Maria Bartiromo is with us, legendary in the financial space and broadcasting, all-around amazing person. Maria, thank you so much for joining the program.
Charlie, thank you so much for having me.
So, Maria, there's a lot of confusion, some could say, around the tariff issue. You understand financial markets. You talk to more CEOs than anybody and lawmakers. What is the latest with the tariff situation as of today?
Yeah, it's funny that, you're saying, what is the situation today? Because, of course, we know that it appears that it feels like it's constantly changing. But the truth is, President Trump has had plans in place from day one. And he's trying right now to categorize things in different buckets, frankly. I mean, to make it as simple as possible. He started this, this exercise out by focusing on the fentanyl coming into the country, killing 100,000 Americans a year. And so, he went to the countries that, he was looking to help. And he put a 20% tariff on them for failing to really stop the problem. And, that was initially the first reason. And then, it's also a revenue generator. He's also raising money into U.S. coffers. So there's that. He's talking about $2 billion a day. Of course, that's terrific, knowing our debt and deficits. Then he's talking about bringing manufacturing to America, and that's another reason that he's looking at tariffs. So today we've got tariffs on fentanyl, which is under the international emergency economic powers that the president is using, which of course allows the president to regulate, foreign and business activity internationally, and place those tariffs on partners or wherever. And then he's got the tariffs having to do with aluminum and steel. And he's talking about tariffs there being a national security issue. So you know what, Charlie? I think this whole thing is not just an economic issue, but it is a national security issue. And that's what I wish, corporate America would understand. I wish most people would understand. These people that are trading stocks and, selling their portfolio and putting pressure on the markets. It's really not a good idea. And it's not, when I say not a good idea, it's not a good idea for them. Okay. Because you have to hold, the stock market is the best place long-term for wealth creation. So if you really want to make money over the long term, decide where you want to put your, where you want to invest. We can get to that later. That's another conversation. Stay there and you don't trade in and out of it. Okay. So you stay there long term. If you didn't sell anything, you're fine. Okay. So you saw lots of volatility on Wall Street in the last couple of weeks. But again, this is a national security issue. And I really don't care how much, it cuts into people's profits right now. It's not the priority. The priority is that communist China is undermining America at every turn, whether it be, okay, you could start with COVID. Why don't we start there? Okay, COVID, we all know where it came from, and we knew that actually very early on. Secondly, there was a COVID cover-up. They cornered the market on things, like masks and gloves and this and that. And I remember reporting that at the time because I had my hospital sources call me and say, Maria, the ships were on their way to America with all this stuff that we need. They were told, turn around and go back to China. So they totally cornered the market on PPE and the products that we needed. And then they basically stopped flights going out. Stopped flights coming in, but allowed people to go out of China, out of Wuhan, right to Italy, where they had their Belt and Road Initiative. All those people were working in Italy, and then it spread globally. So there's a COVID cover-up. There's also obviously massive, massive surveillance. They're surveilling us at every turn. They had, not to mention the spy balloon that travels the country, thanks Joe Biden for the whole week of having the surveillance balloon send information back to the Chinese Communist Party in real time. but you also have spies galore coming in all the time. They have exploited the student visa process. They have exploited and capitalized on anything they can. And it's because the Communist Party of China wants to overtake the United States as the #1 superpower. President Trump is aware of this. So he needs to protect the country. And one of the most important ways and direct ways to do that is to ensure that America is independent of its own production. There is no way in hell anybody would believe that we are completely reliant on communist China for our prescription drugs. It's outrageous. We can't have it any longer. We need to change that immediately. Advanced semiconductor chips, same thing. We are reliant on Taiwan. We all know that China wants to reunite with Taiwan. So in 3 seconds, China will be able to shut the lights off and on in the world if they go in and get all of those 90% of advanced semiconductor chips. These are serious issues. So President Trump is making it so expensive and so hard for companies not to want to produce in America, not to want to manufacture in America, that they're all going to immediately start talking like patriots. And that's what should happen.
I want to play a piece of tape here. This is cut. Thank you for that, Maria. Cut 118. It's the NVIDIA clip from Stuart Varney. Let's play cut 118.
Look at NVIDIA on the left-hand side of the screen. They've announced they will manufacture AI supercomputers in the United States. They'll be building more than 1 million square feet of manufacturing space in Texas and in Arizona.
So we're seeing more and more investment here domestically, Maria. When you're talking to the CEOs, both on your great program or privately, how are they internalizing all of this? Some say they're panicking, but are they understanding that they have probably indulged the Chinese beast far too much? Is there a private admission by the corporate class that they have made a mistake, they've made an error, and even for their own best interest as a company, they should start to decouple their marriage with the Chinese Communist Party?
They're getting it slowly. Remember, companies are going to do whatever is lawful, and they may very well push it to the edge because it's quote unquote lawful. Now, what happened was, when Clinton and, when Nixon first went to China and then Clinton, supported China into the World Trade Organization, it was a pivotal moment for America. And what happened then was the Americans felt, well, maybe, we open up the world to trade with China, maybe they'll recognize how great democracy and capitalism is, and they'll sort of come to the middle. That's not what happened. What happened when they went more nationalistic, and you've got Xi Jinping right now modeling himself after Mao Zedong. So they went completely the other way. So yes, people recognize that it went the other way. It wasn't just corporations making the mistake. It was, the world at large. And so now they've gone too far. And, companies, I think, are talking about it, and they do know privately. One CEO of a financial services company said to me, well, I told my people, make sure you're always ready to leave the keys and walk out the door. Like, don't leave too much stuff, don't leave too much behind. Make sure you're always ready to, I'm out of here, and get out when you need to. But, China has been very smart and very aggressive with its Belt and Road strategy, taking it all over the world and aggressively utilizing shipping lanes across the world to, producing products for the world at very cheap prices and taking over, complete huge infrastructure projects with various countries across the world, knowing that they'll never be able to pay the debt. And then ultimately the Chinese saying, well, then we're going to just acquire this port, take over that. And so, the good news is that President Trump understands all of this. And the fact that he came in swinging with, the Panama Canal, the Greenland idea, just shows you how in tune and brilliant he is about this issue. On the one hand, he's saying, oh, Xi Jinping's my friend, blah, blah, blah. On the other hand, he's putting 145% tariffs on the nation. So, look, it's not going to be easy. The president said we're going to see disruption, and I agree with that, because these things should have happened a long time ago. We should not, like I said, we should not be reliant on these supply chains. What companies are also saying, however, in addition to doing it privately, that yes, we need to decouple. We need to, bring more manufacturing outside of China and depend less on China. They're also very unnerved by a lack of clarity. And that's really the issue. And when I spoke with President Trump a month ago, I asked him this, and I pushed him on it. That's not clarity. Where's the clarity? We need clarity because these companies are public companies. Their CEOs need to communicate to shareholders. They need to communicate to their business partners and, about how much money they're going to put into IT and how much money they're going to do R&D and make capital projections. And they can't because they don't know how much it's going to cost them on tariffs. So the lack of clarity is what is undermining the confidence in this. But I think slowly but surely, people are recognizing that this is not just an economic issue. This is a national security issue, and everybody needs to get on board.
I completely and totally agree. In closing here, Maria, would you say that we are heading towards a recession? How would you look at the current economic environment? How does the one big, beautiful bill play into that? The consensus amongst CEOs, 60+%, say that they think a recession is coming. What do you think, Maria? About a minute and a half remaining.
Nah, I don't think so. Look, I see a lot of good things in the economy. I do think that the big, beautiful bill takes on much more importance than ever before. Congress needs to get to work. The GOP needs to get in line and ensure that they get those tax cuts extended because the markets and the economy need some good news. I don't think a recession is a definite outcome at all. I see growth. I don't want to hear this talk about raising taxes on the rich. That's exactly who you should not raise taxes on because that encapsulates business, and businesses are the job creators. So I think they need to stick to their principles, extend the tax cuts, ensure that people have confidence in that, confidence in Trump's deregulatory plans. That's also very important. Confidence in the energy plan, and I think they'll get over tariffs soon enough. And maybe it takes a hit to earnings next couple of quarters, but they'll get over it.
Everyone, Maria is the greatest. Every Sunday morning, I'm watching Sunday Morning Futures with Maria Bartiromo on Fox News. Maria, thank you so much for your time. God bless. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, Carl. You too. Bye-bye.
Oh, really? This is incredible. Like, I love the way Trump is trying to help America, like trying to produce their own drugs and their own manufacture everything they want in America. It's very good. They also grow the country very well because China is now the most largest country that imports, like distributes things out to different country. Like China is very big. Like I was just watching the analysis here. Like China is a very big country, and they are also smart, very very smart. And I love the way this interviewer was able to educate Charlie, was telling him what is really going on in the market, in the China market, and what is really going on. And I love the way Trump is doing everything possible so that America should have their own big factory that can be able to produce anything and also distribute things outside the country too. It's a good idea too. It's a very very good idea because China want to rule the world, and America said no. America is always want to come first. So it's a good idea too, and I just pray that God direct the steps of Donald Trump in what he's about to accomplish, and I pray that companies in US should not fold up because of what is going on now. And this is very good, and I love the way Charlie was able to educate the society on how they are going to what is really going on now, and it's very good for the Charlie Cake show. Like, it's very very good. So guys, please comment below on how you feel about this, how you feel, your opinion, and also like this video, share this video, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ngal Fashion Store. Fashion make sense.